showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
I want to welcome everybody out today to episode 231 of I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name's Chris Hollifield.
And I'm Chrissy Shelley.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back as we continue the journey here in Salt Lake City, where we sit down and chat with locals, professionals, everyday people that are doing really cool things here in Salt Lake and making it a really rad place to live. Hey, today on the podcast is some interviews that I did with three artists at the May 27th art battle that took place at the Leonardo. There are going to be conversations with Tessa Ryser, Grace Ryser, and Don Taylor. This was a really cool event. I'm going to be playing the conversations that I had with them here in just a second. Before I do that, I do want to tell you, depending on when you're listening to this, if you're listening to this before July 4th, I want you to plan on coming out to the Sugar House July 4th Festival. It's an all-day event. I'm going to be emceeing the main festival stage in between bands. That goes on between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., so come on out, hang out, say hello. I know there's going to be a chance in between all of it where I can kind of kick back and have a drink, maybe grab a bite to eat with some of you. So come on out and say hello. I know Chrissy's going to be there.
Yeah, I'll just be hanging out.
Are you going to hang out all day, Chrissy?
Probably.
Well, you know,
it'll be entertaining.
It will be. I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of fun getting up there on stage and
I'm just gonna
chat and taking pictures and you know, I know there's going to be some amazing artists there, probably selling their work, vendors.
It sounds like it's going to be really cool. Like tons of stuff to do.
Yeah, and bands, and then of course the fireworks in the evening. Those start at about 10 o'clock in the Sugar House Park. A lot of bands playing that day. It's an all-day festival. It is free. Family friendly. So come on out. If you want to find out more about it, head on over to iamsaltlake.com/July4. That's the number 4. That's going to send you on over to the Facebook event for it, where you can read more about it. But come on out and say hello. I love to meet the listeners of I Am Salt Lake. Then this is really cool. I want to tell everybody about this really quickly. After July 4th, July 5th, Chrissy and myself are going to get up really early in the morning, head to the Salt Lake Airport, and we're going to be headed out to Chicago. And there's
a podcast podcast conference.
The Podcast Movement Conference. Yeah. This is going to be really epic. I'm really excited for it. Chrissy and myself haven't had an opportunity to go on a vacation for a while. We both have needed one. We both have been kind of saving our pennies and collecting cans and doing all of that to be able to go on a vacation. And we're like, well, what better vacation than to go on to a podcast conference,
right? And
learn how to be better podcasters.
Also, Chicago. Have you ever been to Chicago?
You know, I've been through there, I think, on the Greyhound bus.
That's kind of going to Chicago, but
right?
It's really so much better than a Greyhound bus station.
This was, you know, back in the day in my early 20s when I used to take the Greyhound bus back and forth between Salt Lake City and Pennsylvania, we'd go through Chicago.
Oh,
and there's actually an amazing root beer there called Dog and Suds.
Really?
I believe it's from Chicago. I want to check it out while we're there.
All right.
So let's keep our eyes open for that.
Let's do it.
But make sure, what I want to tell you as the listener, follow both Chrissy and myself on social media. All the different outlets between Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook. We're going to be posting about this whole trip.
We'll probably overpost.
Yeah, we're going to overpost. We don't care, though. I want to do some Facebook Live while we're out there.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like, I Am Salt Lake invades Chicago, you know? I think that would be really cool to do.
It's seriously going to be so much fun. I'm sorry that you guys can't all come with us, really.
Yeah, so I'm glad they can't come with us. But
true.
That would be, our suitcases
they wouldn't
would be
fit
a little
in our Airbnb.
Anyway, so make sure you're following us on social media. I'm really excited to tell everybody about this trip. It's going to be a really good time. But don't worry. I mean, even though we're going to be gone for a week, we're still going to have another episode come out while we're gone and all that good stuff. Let's tell everybody about the show sponsor, though, Chrissy. Who's our show sponsor?
Oleo Skin and Beard.
I love these guys. I mean, they make great beard oil, makes my beard nice and soft. And
I honestly don't know how they make so many amazing products.
Jen and Derek are amazing people. And if you have an opportunity to check them out at the Downtown Farmers Market, they're there every Saturday. This is at Pioneer Park. This is going well into October. It's going on right now. So every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.,
They're there, man.
They're there. Go check out their products.
And they're amazing at answering questions. If you have and of course I'm speaking to the ladies, if you have questions about facial care, Jen has pages of facial care instructions, and she's amazing to ask questions to.
Yeah, so head on over to and then the same thing with Derek.
Yeah.
If you have beard questions, if you want to know what kind of beard oils to get or beard, they got a really great beard wash that I use, as well as a beard balm. Head on over there, check it out. Also, their website, oleoskin.com, is where you can go, and you can actually use a promo code that they created for the listeners of I Am Salt Lake. Just enter in I Am Salt Lake, all one word at checkout. This is going to give you 25% off of your entire purchase. That means even if you're listening and you're outside of Utah, say you're out of state, boom, you can order right there from oleoskin.com. Order your beard oils, order your coffee scrubs or your skin oils,
your salt scrubs.
Yeah, they got
mask.
They got it all right there online. So give them some love. Also want to give some love to our GoFundMe sponsors. We're going to get into that at the end of the episode. I know Chrissy and myself, we have a lot to tell about the GoFundMe that we have going on. Mm-hmm. This is a way that we can raise money to keep I Am Salt Lake alive. Go to iamsaltlake.com/GoFundMe. You'll find out more about it, what we're doing. But I want to give some love to some folks. They've donated a little bit more with the GoFundMe, letting them be sponsors of the podcast. The Dog and Deuce Show, dogandeuce.com. Great local podcast from here in Salt Lake City. Go check them out. Give them some love. Tara Norton, fantastic. She is awesome. Thank you so much for your support of the podcast. Summers Law, thank you so much. Ryan and Emma, thank you. And of course, Futzer. Got to give that guy some love. He's a great guy. So head on over to iamsaltlake.com/GoFundMe. This is really the only way we're going to keep this podcast moving forward is with your help. Mm-hmm. Like I said, on this episode is conversations with Tessa Ryser, Grace Ryser. They actually are sisters. And Don Taylor. It's from the May 27th art battle at the Leonardo. I know you were there, Chrissy.
I was there. And it was super interesting to see sisters compete.
Yeah, it was. I've never been to an art battle.
Me neither.
I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But they asked me to host it, which I want to tell people this. I'm going to say this for the record right now. If you want me or Chrissy to host an event for you, maybe together, that'd be kind of fun.
Hey.
If you want us to host or MC anything, we could do it together. We could do it separately. Please reach out.
I mean, if you think my voice is way better than Chris's.
Well, no, we don't need to go there, but go to iamsaltlake.com. All the contact information is right there. We would love to host your event or play MC. So anyway, let's get into that. Here are the conversations with Tessa and Grace Ryser and Don Taylor from the May 27th art battle at the Leonardo. Thanks for listening. All right, so I'm with Don Taylor. And how you doing, by the way?
I'm wonderful.
I know you're nervous of
I am
being interviewed.
Yeah.
Where's home? I always, let's just start
like
there
original home or current home?
Well, where do you call home?
Well, currently Nephi. Nephi's home.
Do you commute to Salt Lake from there?
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes. It's
really?
not bad. Yeah.
Wow. So tonight you came from Nephi.
Yeah.
That is quite a drive. Is this your first art battle?
Yes, definitely.
Are you familiar with art battles at all? Have you watched art battles like on YouTube?
No, I didn't want to. I thought about Googling them, but I was like, no, it's better to just
kind of get in there and not know what to expect and not know where to go with that. What is your do you have like a preferred medium that you work with art?
I work with everything, actually. So,
Is there one that you like more than the other? Or?
no, right? Well, currently I'm kind of in love with ceramics, but
Really?
yeah.
What got you interested in ceramics?
I think there's something about getting your hands dirty that's really satisfying.
So how long have you been creating art? Like your whole life?
Whole life.
Did you kind of come from an artistic family?
No, not at all. No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I have, distant cousins and aunts that enjoy art, but.
So what got you interested?
I've always loved it.
Just as a young child, you picked up crayons and you were drawing and painting. So at what point did you just say, this is something I want to do?
I probably from a very young age. My mother actually, she was friends or associated somehow with like a news station in Nashville where I'm from. And there's a recording of me, little kindergartner Dawn, and I'm sitting on the weather lady's lap and she's like, now, Miss Dawn, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I say all dewy-eyed, an artist.
And that, did you go to school for art?
Lots of different places.
Lots of. Do you feel like it helped you at all?
It did. It helped. I kind of didn't want to get a degree because I heard so much about people getting arts degrees and never paying them off, and
sure,
kind of
debt.
Yeah. Thought it was,
and it was
best.
more the debt that you were afraid of.
Yeah. But I did, I've taken from quite a few places, just never with the mindset to get a degree.
Do you feel like it helped you, though?
Yeah, it definitely exposed me to a lot of different artists and mediums, and it's always good to be amongst your peers. I think something creatively happens when you're among other artists. Kind
of feed off of each other and learn from it. Would you recommend that, like, say somebody's listening to this, the recording, obviously, what would you recommend for them?
Yeah, definitely. An art class of some sort.
Take art classes.
Yeah.
Like they're saying, hey, I want to be an artist. I want to create. I want to paint. Mm-hmm. Where would you recommend them to? I mean,
to go anywhere.
Well, besides school, what would you recommend for them to do?
I'd recommend them to find other artists, to surround themselves with artists and art, and to really delve into it. I think about, like when you go to a yoga class, you know what I mean? And you're among other yogis or people that do that kind of thing, you come home and you're more sore than if you practice in your living room.
Because you push yourself.
And I think that's the same thing for anything in life, especially art. So
what or who are some of your influences, like in the art world, outside the art world? Where do you find influence? I mean, we all find influence in something.
Wow, what a good question. I find influence everywhere.
Sure. I mean, but is there something more, like, those times when you're like, I can't create. I need to find inspiration. I need to find something to motivate me to create.
Probably movement, actually. Yeah, I think movement, walking, riding your bike, hiking, anything that involves movement. I think it's
like getting out,
doing anything. I think it's directly correlated with your creative side of your brain.
Really? Mm-hmm. Like nature?
Yeah, anything where you're just, I think if you sit in front of a white canvas or a whiteboard or whatever it is, if you're a writer, anything that involves you just staring at a blank something that you need to fill, like, you're never going to fill it because you're staring at it. You need to go be away from it and separate yourself. And I think when you're moving, doing something active, that usually you find inspiration.
Is there something that you prefer to do?
I prefer cycling.
Really? You like long distance cycling?
Yeah, road cycling. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. That it's always been something I've wanted to do. Long distance travel to U.S. or something.
Right.
You know, you always hear those stories of people that cycle across the United States. Have you done something like that?
No, I'd love to. I'd love to.
How do you deal with negative feedback? Like if somebody says that your work is horrible, how do you deal with that?
Man, what a good question. It's always hard to hear something
Because I'm
negative.
sure you hear it, right?
Yeah, of course you hear it. But, you know, I usually hear things like people are correlating my art to themselves negatively. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's an attack on somebody else. I think I'm my own worst critic most of the time.
Don't you think we all are?
Yeah. So I don't think anyone can really say anything that really gets under my skin. People taking my art personally, that bothers me because it's like, does the world revolve around you?
Do you think like we all interpret art differently?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You know, one way, you know, you might make a painting and you might have a certain thought of it or interpretation of it, then somebody else might. And so, I mean, I don't know. That's how I would, negative feedback. It's kind of like, well, we all see it differently.
Yeah.
Your current workspace, do you have like a studio?
I do.
Or how do you, do you deal with mess or clean, do you have to have everything tight? I mean, how do you, what is your current workspace?
It is so disheveled all the time. I have 4 kids and they are constantly in there taking things out, spreading things around. And I teach out of my studio. So it's, it's always in motion and changing and messy.
So you're an art teacher too.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And you have 4 kids.
And I have 4 kids. Yep.
Are they young?
Yeah. I mean, 10 and under.
Wow. So how do you deal with that? How do you manage 4 kids plus create art?
It's a challenge. It's probably the most challenging part, I think, of being an artist. I heard once this adage that someone said you couldn't be a mother and an artist at the same time. And it's heartbreaking, but I definitely see where that came from. I think I get a lot of...
Why couldn't you be a mother and an artist?
Because I think that... there's kind of a selfish aspect to being an artist because you kind of delve yourself into your work. And, it's not uncommon for an artist to sit down and work on whatever they're working on and then look at the clock 6 hours later and be like, oh, has it really been 6 hours?
You get kind of lost in your art.
Yeah. So, it's hard, but it's doable,
Are your kids like have interest in art? Do they want to paint?
My daughters seem to. The boys are, but that's cool. They can like whatever they want to like.
Yeah, you're not like pushing it.
Oh no, not at all.
You're not pushing them on them. Do you have like a motto or piece of advice, or just some words of wisdom that you like to live by? I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Oh man!
If there's anything,
I don't know.
That's fine.
You just keep going.
I like that. I like that. How can people find? Like, do you have a website or Instagram or something that people can see?
I'm
your art?
on Instagram at Dawn Taylor Art. I have a website, DawnTaylorArt.com, and I'm on Facebook /Dawn Taylor Art.
And so people can go and see your art there. Any galleries that it's up, or any
galleries,
or a place that people can see it here in Salt Lake? Or?
I'm curating a show at the Urban Arts Gallery in August. It's going to be a selfie show, a whole bunch of artists and their self-portraits. In
August, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I'll keep my eyes out for that. Anything more you want to add while we're chatting today? Or you ready for the art battle?
Oh, I'm so nervous.
I have to host it. I don't even know what I'm doing there. You know what I mean? So that's part of the fun, I guess.
I mean, it's such a narrow time slot, and a piece this size, it probably takes me several days, if not a week. And so I'm like,
yeah.
What's the end product going to be like?
You'll do great.
Yeah.
You'll do great. Well, thanks for chatting.
Yeah.
That's it. We're finished.
All right.
The spotlight is off.
All right. Goodbye.
All right, Tessa Ryser.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Is this your first art battle?
Yes.
I started off with Dawn with that one as well. Are you nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
Have you watched, like, before this, I went on YouTube and I was like, okay, I'm going to see what these art battles are. They're kind of impressive.
Yeah, they're really cool. I knew about them beforehand. They're a big deal in Canada and Vancouver and stuff, and people do amazing things.
Where's home for you? Like,
here.
For Utah, you grew up here in Salt Lake?
Yeah, in Sandy.
In Sandy. Mm-hmm. And you're doing the art battle with your sister.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm assuming you come from an artistic family then?
No. Well, half. The women are artists and the men are doctors.
And, okay, artists and doctors, there's a wide... So, like, how early, like, how young were you when you started your interest in art?
I always knew I was creative.
Sure,
and I took classes, art classes, pretty much my whole growing up, but I didn't feel serious about it until high school.
And so, like, at what point and what happened that you decided, this is something I want to do? You said high school.
Yeah, I took AP art. And if you take AP art, they force you to paint. I mean, to get your paintings done, you have to paint like 4 hours a day. And that much painting kind of moved me into being committed to it.
Well, so 4 hours a day in high school, were you like fighting it? Or did you want to do 4 hours? Or
I think there's variation between students and how much they committed to it, but I knew what I wanted my projects and my portfolio to be, and I kind of commit until it's what I want it to be with everything.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Did you go on later on to like further education with art then?
Yeah, I went to Utah State and I got a BFA in drawing and painting. Wow. So it really built from there.
Did you have like an end goal, like something you wanted to do with your art, like be a teacher or paint?
I've always known I didn't want to be a teacher. I have a double degree, a BA in creative writing too. So I really went for the starving artist, starving writer kind of thing. And with both of those, I knew I didn't want to be a teacher because I feel like while like a noble profession, I wanted to be the creator, the ones that people are analyzing and talking about versus sharing with other people. I don't know. But I knew I wanted to be a writer and publish books with art. I was thinking more of the traditional artist. I would paint some things. I would put them in galleries. I didn't think of it as being my living. I was thinking writing would be my living. But after college, it's become, I've gotten more focused on art. And that's become, I'm still working on writing, but I'm working on a book and it takes a very long time. Whereas art, I feel like you can more immediately get that out in the world.
Have you published a book before?
No, you're working on my first book.
What book? Do you want to talk about it for a second? Just a minute?
I mean, a little bit. It's just a young adult novel. I'm into children's literature and young adult, and I did a graduate program at Stony Brook in New York. And basically it's...
So you can illustrate your own book probably too then.
I get asked that all the time too. And I feel like my style of painting isn't quite suited for illustration. It's more portraiture. It's more gallery. It's very large. I have only just recently realized I'd like to learn how to be more illustrative. But in the past, I felt like that wasn't my strength or where I wanted to go with my art. And so I kind of pushed it on the side. And I only just recently have been thinking about merging the two.
Interesting.
We joke about that I will write my books and Grace will illustrate them. She's much more illustrative.
So your sister, Grace, is here, part of the art battle as well.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys feed off of each other? Do you
Extremely.
work well together?
Yes.
I mean, is it kind of, do you feel that, I mean, because I've never had a chance to talk to family members that are artists, especially in an art battle like this. Do you think that will benefit you or actually hurt you?
We think it'll be really fun. And we actually we collaborate together a lot. And we create YouTube videos where we paint on the same canvas and work off of each other. So what we're doing tonight, we're really very familiar with. And yeah, it's been really great. I'm about 4 years older than Grace, so for a long time I feel like she was sort of following me. She was in high school while I was in college, and then she was finishing college while I was out. But just recently, we're we're both graduated. It feels like we're kind of on the same playing field, and we really work well together.
So you're like the big sister.
Yes, I am the big sister.
Well, you are. But I mean, in that protective guidance way.
Yeah.
What or who are some of your influences, both in the art world and outside the art world? Like, where do you get influence from? I guess that'd be simpler words.
I mean, I love like classic artists. I went to the Norman Rockwell exhibit at BYU, and it was amazing and could make me cry. It was so beautiful. But I love Instagram. Like,
to get on there and just search through other people's art.
There's so many artists on there who are just doing amazing creative things and making a living and making it work. And my friend was just telling me about somebody who and I looked up their account. They do butt sketches. So they do, that's what they call it, but it's people from behind. So it's just a backwards portrait. And he makes a full-time living going around to conferences and events painting people from behind.
Do you remember the name of that?
It's called
who's the name? The username on Instagram.
The Original Butt Sketch or something like that.
I want to look that up.
Yeah, and he's not extremely popular on Instagram right now. But my friend told me about him because he came to their conference and they paid him to be there, and he was really popular at the conference. So
on that note, with Instagram, you get a lot of influences. Do you feel that social media, things, Facebook and all those outlets are beneficial to an artist, or they hurt an artist, because it's so easy to just put yourself out there, and then you get the negative feedback, you get the bad comments, or if you get, somebody might, oh, well, that got 100 likes, so that must mean I'm a great artist.
I mean, to me, it's been a fabulous benefit because I feel like it helped me see how I could be an artist like immediately and share my stuff. I feel like before there's so many gateways sort of blocking, especially for a traditional artist. You got to get all these credentials and you got to apply and get in galleries, and there's specific sort of professional ways that they expect you to do it. And I love the way that's kind of been broken down, and I feel like I can just do it now, and I can just share my art immediately. I can get people to buy it. I can get commissions. Like, it's really opened up a lot of avenues. If you want to be a more traditional artist, it could get in the way in some ways, but and also you're talking about the negativity. I don't get that. I mean, maybe you have to reach a certain level, but I have found that people are really kind and supportive and say a lot of really wonderful things.
Yeah. That's good. But like on especially Facebook, people aren't afraid to speak their mind, and they're like, "Oh, that's a piece of crap." I don't know, and I don't know how it is for you. I haven't seen your work on.
I mean, I seriously have maybe gotten one negative comment ever, so I don't. Sure. And it's usually a perv or something.
What do you think you'd want to be if you weren't an artist? Like what for a career or job? Like you went to school, you went and did all this stuff, art, writing.
I would.
Did you have a plan B?
If it's outside of the creative realm, because in that acting and writing and painting, I love all those things. I would want to be a psychologist.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Why psychologist?
I'm a very sensitive person. I love having deep conversations with people, and I love getting to the root of what makes them them and helping them find if there's a problem, where the root and how you can reframe it or switch it. Or I feel like I do that anyway in my life, and to take it to a professional level would be really awesome.
What advice would you give somebody right now? They're listening to the podcast and they're interested in being an artist. Like where would you tell them to start?
A lesson that I feel like it took me a while to learn is really to put it out there now. Like, don't wait to put your stuff out in the universe. I always felt like I had to wait till I was really good or was ready or whatever that means. Just throw the ball out in the universe and something will bounce back, good or bad. I feel like as long as you're putting it out there, things will come back, and it'll help your life move forward and your career move forward. You have to take action.
I like that. I think a lot of us, myself included, is we feel like we have to be, professionals or be perfect. And you have to learn from that. You have to, the feedback, the online feedback.
And playing it like a game. Like when you get a negative bounce back, it's just feedback. You can take that and change what you're doing and then throw the ball back out there. Yeah. Like I'm a perfectionist too. I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I really had to learn that.
Let's see here. Let's actually talk about how can people find you online. They can maybe see, they're listening to the podcast or they want to see some of your art. Is there somewhere we can send them?
My Instagram's the best place, Tessa Rose Art. And I have a website, tessaroseart.com. It's there, but I'm currently upgrading it. And then I also have a shared account with my sister Artists. And
Sister Artists is the Instagram?
Yeah, that's the Instagram. And we're currently building a website for that. So yeah.
Very cool. Anything else you want to add while we're recording here?
No, I'm
anything
excited.
You want to promote or tell people to check something out?
I guess if they're a growing artist and looking to be spotlighted and getting some feedback and stuff, that's what we're hoping Sister Artists is going to be, is that we collaborate and we do fun things together as sisters, but also that we collaborate with other sisters and brothers in the community and people and help spotlight other artists. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's it.
Yeah,
I'll let you away from the microphone. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Go, girl.
Look at her offering soda. Yeah, just get right up in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to kind of get right up in there, and we will get chatting.
Right up in here.
Get right up in there. So, Grace Ryser, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you nervous right now?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay. When I first walked in, it seemed to be a bit more casual than what I expected.
The art battle upstairs.
The art battle upstairs.
For people listening, we're in the basement, chatting before the art battle, getting the pre-jitters out.
Yeah.
Is this your first art battle?
It is.
Like your sister. We chatted with your sister before this. Do you expect anything? Do you have any thoughts, expectations? I don't know.
Any expectations? Like I said, it's far more casual than I expected it to be. And so that is comforting in that way. But I just expect it to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like Tessa kind of said earlier, we've done a bit of stuff like this, a lot of collaborating, and we've even considered doing live painting before, just for like events and that kind of thing, the two of us. And so this is just kind of a step closer into experiencing that.
Yeah, you kind of need to experience different situations. And so like where, when you, like, how did you get interested in art? Young age?
Yes, very young. Yep, I was actually, I don't know, how old do you have to be to start art lessons? As young as you can be.
As young as you can be.
Yeah, they put a paintbrush in my hand as soon as I could hold it,
So somebody actually put it in your hand. It was kind of like forced upon you a little bit.
Oh yeah, I didn't choose my profession. Someone made me. No, not at all. But I started it when I was very young, and I've been taking art lessons with my sister and with my mom and with family members as young as I can remember to high school. I took art lessons, and then I took AP art in high school, and I majored in it at Utah State.
Wow. So were you going to school the same time as your sister then, or no?
I was there for 1 year. She had 1 year left, and that was my freshman year.
Do you find, when I was chatting with your sister, do you find that that's really helpful to work, like to have somebody so close that you're able to work with?
It's helpful to have someone that can relate to me so easily with something that I love to do. Someone that we can bounce ideas off of each other and that we can, again, collaborate with. And honestly, it's opened up a whole new world of ideas and possibilities working with my sister as opposed to just working by myself. I think it feels maybe a bit more limiting.
Yeah.
But to have her, it feels, I don't know, the possibilities are.
And then who are some of your influences, like in the art world, outside the art world? Like, where do you find influence? What influences you?
I am very inspired by those who have made a living off of living their most creative life. And I find a lot of those on Instagram. Again, Instagram is a huge influencer for an artist in this day and age, I think.
Seems like Instagram, you need to get on there if you're an artist.
Yeah, it's big for marketing and getting your name out there it's huge.
Do you feel it's been helpful for you?
Oh, yeah, certainly. Yeah. Honestly, like even with like friends and family, they reach to me through Instagram. So like they contact me, they comment on my images, like they see all my stuff on Instagram. And so that's where it's all at.
Do you feel like those comments and it kind of pushes you, helps you, drive you?
Yeah.
And like, keeps you going when those times, the creative types, I know how it is for me. There's those very low moments where you're just like, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I'm sick of this.
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
what picks you up when you're kind of down?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely on Instagram, you get, in my experience, I've gotten a lot of uplifting comments and pretty consistently. And so having those, it just makes me want to keep going, and just to create more and, see what else I can put out there. But yeah, it's just, Instagram is very helpful. And
what would you want to do if you didn't create art? Like do you have like a profession? Like that you'd want to do, like kind of that backup. Like, gosh, I should have done that. I should have been an ice skater or an FBI agent.
It used to be like a professional soccer player. That's what I do second most to art is play soccer.
You play a lot of soccer.
I play a lot of soccer, but other than that, that dream, went outside the window.
Why is that? Why though? Why did they go out the window?
Oh, just because I wasn't good enough. That's all. And it didn't seem realistic. And I think I was drawn more to art in that way. I still love soccer, but I was just drawn more to art, pun intended. But don't get it.
What would you tell somebody? They're listening. They're like, I want to start painting or drawing. I want to be an artist. What would you tell them? Piece of advice or suggestions or a book or a class or an artist to look at? I don't know, anything. What would you tell them? This is your minute. You got a second.
It's just my minute. Just do it.
Just get out and do it.
Just do it and lower your expectations of what people are going to think of you, what people should think or what you should think of yourself or your artwork. Just rid yourself of expectations and just do it. Do
you think you're born an artist? Do you think that like you're it's just kind of something you're gifted with? Like somebody like myself, I feel like I can't draw. But do you feel like maybe there is something in there? I could get it out if I took some classes. Is it worth it? Or is it kind of like one of those things, well, Chris, you're not born with that?
Well, I mean, in my situation, I grew up doing it my whole life. So for me, it's not something I just decided to pick up randomly when I was older and I had a knack for it. So for me, I feel like my life prepared me for this. But in that way also, I think, anyone can be an artist, but it's kind of whatever the universe has in store for you,
Sure.
I think, like
your passion.
Yeah.
Where you want to be drawn to.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think everything is working with the universe and everything is as it should be, so wherever you end up, it's what you're supposed to be doing. And so if you feel drawn to art, by all means, do it.
Describe your studio or arts like work area. Do you have a studio that you work at?
Oh, yeah. Tessa and I, we have an older brother and he moved out quite a few years ago. And so our mom, she generously turned that into an art studio for us.
So like a bedroom in the house.
Yeah. It's like, the front room in the house and open window, and it still has his old wallpaper and stuff, but we moved in my old furniture and like, not like my bed and stuff, but like, we have a dresser and like, a nightstand, and the closet is just full of artwork, and we have a bulletin board. And
well, everybody, you kind of have to set up your area to kind of be able to have your work environment, get your brain to focus. Have you set it up at all like that, or do you have a preferred way that you like it?
Tessa and I have gone through many rounds of rearranging the art room and setting it up. And, we just like things organized and tidy and clean. So we feel like we have open space and area to
work for.
Yeah. And just to allow things to come to us, come into our minds. And like, anyway.
How can people find your art, your website, Instagram name? Feel free to rattle those off.
Sure. All right. Instagram is Grace Lee Art. Lee is Leigh. It's my middle name. And then I have a website as well. It's graceleeart.com. And then Tess and I, we have Sister Artists, where we like to spotlight other artists and we paint other people. So like if you get on there, like hashtag reach out to us. And other than that, Tess and I are building a website for Sister Artists. But that's all.
Check it out
right now.
Yeah. And
I'll
I'll try to get any links I have at iamsaltlake.com. Anything you want to add? That's it. I mean, we'll get up to the art battle.
All right, yeah, let's go battle. I'm good.
All right, thank you so much for chatting today. All right, those were some really great conversations with those three individuals: Tessa Ryser, Grace Ryser, and Dawn Taylor. Those links to get in touch with them are going to be at iamsaltlake.com/231 for episode 231. Let them know you heard them on this episode of the podcast. Better yet, if you enjoyed this episode, consider sharing it on Facebook or Twitter. Let your family and friends know about it. Don't let this podcast be your dirty secret. I mean, we need this podcast to grow and grow and grow. We can always use more listeners. That's the only way it's going to...
And we really want everyone to know how cool Salt Lake is.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an amazing city.
It really is. And you don't notice it from just looking around. You got to get deep into it and meet the people. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, to find out the conversations, have them share their stories. There's so many people doing cool things behind the scenes that a lot of people have no idea what's going on. Like I mentioned at the beginning, there's a GoFundMe going on right now, and I'm sure some of you might be sick of hearing me talk about it. I apologize. This is the only way we're able to really raise money for the podcast right now, and this is the way we're doing it. If you go to iamsaltlake.com, there is a banner up top on that website. Chrissy actually made this banner.
I made it.
And
every little bit helps you guys. Seriously, if you can even donate $1, that would be amazing.
We have some really cool kickbacks, though, if you donate like $10, $25, $50, $100. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if somebody donates like $1,000, I have a special prize for you. I mean, I'm dead serious. I got a prize for you. So if you want to test out, see what that prize is, why don't you donate $1,000?
I want to know what that prize is.
Well, I'll tell you when we're off the air. I do want some quick shout outs, though, to some individuals that donated a little bit more, to kind of get a shout out. I want to give some love to a friend of the podcast, Kirk Sample, Michael Beck, Steve Kinslow, Jenny Shirley, Michael Christensen, and Daniel Cochran. Thank you so much for being GoFundMe supporters. Every little bit helps. It really does. We really need some new equipment here. We're going on 4 years of doing I Am Salt Lake, and I've been really reaching into my own personal pocket, keeping it going, and I really just can't do it anymore. I need your help. You've been enjoying the podcast. Now, give a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. I mean, I'm serious. Even if you can't help, share the episode with your family and friends. It means a lot.
Yeah, sharing is an amazing help
to you. Like I mentioned, we're going to Chicago, so make sure you follow us on social media. I know I really want everyone to follow me on Snapchat. I'm going to be Snapchatting the heck out of that Chicago.
Okay, I promise if people follow me on Snapchat, I will snap more often.
I think people do follow you. You have to add them back, though, too. I see it every time you open Snapchat. It says new friends,
really?
And you're not adding them back. So I could see why.
I suck at Snap. I'm like an old lady.
Well, no, you're not.
Kinda.
You're a technology wizard.
Every time I look at Snapchat, I'm like, how does this thing work?
Yeah, but hey, you know what? It's July 4th weekend, Chrissy.
Oh man,
I know you're excited for some barbecuing.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We're gonna go do some slip and sliding.
Yeah, we are,
and we're gonna go have some fun. Hopefully, everybody else out there is gonna be safe. We'd like to know what you're doing for July 4th, though. If you want to, tweet us, Snapchat us, let us know what you're doing, snap us. However you're listening to this podcast, maybe you're listening to it while you're going down a slip and slide. It doesn't matter. I don't know. Anyway,
just don't break your phone.
Yeah, don't break your phone, but we want you to be safe. So might I recommend taking a Lyft, okay? Lyft is a great alternative to taxi cabs. It's a great way to get around Salt Lake. It's a great way to get around anywhere in Utah.
Yeah.
I know you're a fan of Lyft, Chrissy.
I kind of use it all the time.
You almost use it more than you probably should. You're like, Chris, I just need to go across the street, and you request a Lyft, and I say, don't. That's a waste of money.
Don't tell everyone.
Anyway, let me tell them about this promo code that we have set up for listeners of the podcast. Enter in the promo code I Am Salt Lake. This is going to give you $50 in free Lyft rides. What it does is it breaks it up into 10 rides that you get $5 off. A really good deal. So even if you're just going a little ways and the ride's only $5, that's a free ride. Yeah. So, I mean, it's great. Beats the heck out of finding a parking place.
I've honestly used it for every festival we've gone to.
Plus, drinking and driving is so 1985. I mean, it really is. It's not. It's not a. It's not
even hip anymore.
It's not something that I would recommend. So use that promo code I am Salt Lake. So. Anything else we want to mention? Oh, we have a voicemail line.
We do.
I want to tell people about this because this is really cool. It's been, I mean, I set this up 4 years ago. I haven't really been pushing it out there. You can voicemail or text 385-202-5926. Nobody will ever pick that up. So leave a message.
We'll listen.
Yeah, we'll listen. We'll read your text messages. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from the listeners. So, again, that's 385-202-5926. I feel like I'm rambling right now.
And I'm not rambling.
Yeah, well, you're over there just making smile faces.
I'm just making faces at you.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Chrissy, for sitting in, co-hosting.
Well, thank you.
And for everything you've done. Thank you so much, everybody who listens to the show. Thank you, everybody, for your support, for the hugs, the kisses, and all of
kisses, you say.
All of the high fives. You guys have a great night.